Yo guys, what up, Bibby here, co-founder, co-lead artistic director of The Poet Warriors, never forget it. I'm just sitting here on a little bench out in nature, got the birds chirping, got my dog next to me, reflecting on a snack that I will be posting shortly, talking about my book that I'm currently working on. My very first novel. I'm just sitting here reflecting on that whole process. Very, very weird, very, very random happenings that led to me writing this book my dog just scared herself with a chair. Yeah, very, very, it kind of sprung on me completely out of nowhere by accident. And now I'm halfway through this book, it's gonna be, several hundred pages long. I've been working on it for probably around 3 months now. And I'm in a place that I never thought I would reach, let alone even reflect on and talk about in this way. I never, growing up as a kid, I always wanted to do acting and do everything with theatre, do everything we're doing with Poet Warriors right now. I wanted my own theatre company, like right from, my first production, I was like 6. I've been doing this my whole life, and I've never focused on anything else, right? In school I wasn't good at maths, English, sciences I liked, but, I just didn't give them the time of day, right? And even, when it came to testing, I don't agree with standardized testing. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. That's a whole other discussion there, but I didn't even focus on that because I knew everything I was doing was irrelevant for my goal and my future. So in English literature classes, in English classes at school in England and in America, I was never good at essays, hated them more than anything, never liked even creative writing projects. Always hated them. And I'm talking like 2 pages, like a 2-page project, like an 1,000-word essay with 2 pages to do, or 4 pages, or, very little stuff like that. And now I'm writing a book, which is really, really foreign to me, really weird. Yeah, I never thought I would do it. And I guess it all started with my mum, I guess. My mum, from a very, very young age, she always liked literature. She was a big consumer, read books. She published a book. It was a crochet book, like a how-to on crochet. Not quite a novel, but I guess it's still an accomplishment, right? Not to diss her. But she always said to me that I had a story in me that I needed to get out, like from a very young age. And the whole time I was like, Mom, you're crazy, like stop it. I don't want to do it. Can you just stop bringing it up now? Like classic mum and son stuff, right? And, eventually it kind of stuck with me a little bit. And so I was working on this full-length play called Cheap Sunglasses, which isn't going anywhere. I wrote maybe the first, I think I got to the intermission on Cheap Sunglasses, and then it just kind of wasn't going anywhere. And so I needed to pause for a minute. I took a step back, and I had this other idea for this historically accurate fantasy, kind of like the whole Game of Thrones type vibe, but if it was completely historically like sound, like it was based in a you know in accuracy, which for me as a history buff, I do like history. I know it might be a very niche thing, but you know, when I watch these shows that claim to be historically accurate, and I know they're not, you know, I turn it off. Like, it bothers me, you know. So I don't know. Maybe there are some others like me, but that's basically what this book is. This idea that I had is for a fantasy based around real historical events in history. And originally it was going to be a play, or I think maybe I started writing it as a movie script, something. I didn't know what it was going to be, something along those lines. And eventually it kind of clicked to me, all my mother's words of wisdom over the years. I was like, hang on, no, like, this is a book, and this has to be a book. I didn't want it to be a book. I was like, God damn, no, you know, but it was a book. And immediately when I started writing it in that format, once I came to the acknowledgement that it was a book, the idea just shaped itself, man. Like, it went away from me almost. You know, I was kind of struggling at the beginning, like, oh, where do I go from it? You know, moving kind of scene by scene. And as I was writing it in that format, the second it was a book, everything clicked. And it just started going, man. It just started going. And now, like I said, you know, like, I'm hundreds of pages in now. You know, my cat's meowing. She's like, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are, Bubba. You know, I'm like halfway through this book. I've already got the structure, the storyboard for the next 2 books. It's gonna be a trilogy, and I've even, you know, like, already planned out like 2 prequel books and stuff, you know, and which these could definitely be turned into movies, shows, whatever as well. So there's that avenue also, and it's going really, really well, man. I'm having a lot of fun with it too. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about, is just, you know, always hated writing. Always hated writing. I loved writing scripts, writing plays, writing one-acts, you know, that's just something that I was familiar with. It was in the world that I found interesting, so I think it just came as second nature, you know. But that's something that I always liked to do. Never, you know, like I said, even 2 pages. 2 pages, couldn't do it, man. And as a lot of you guys know, I've, fairly recently, been here about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now. I've moved to Italy from the States. And so where I am right now, I mean, it's gorgeous. You know, I'm sitting out here with the birds chirping. I've got mountains all around me with the fog rolling and over. Like, wow, you know, it's stunning. And hugely inspirational, dude. Like, go out in nature, get inspired, guys, because it's a huge... Let the world take you on a journey, man. Let the world inspire you. It's huge. Don't sleep on the environment around you. But there's not a lot of theatre around me, and I'm very, very limited in my access to express myself creatively as of right now, which is a big reason as to why I was able to approach the Bays. And, you know, we have the time, we have the means to get going with Poet Warriors, which has been a long time dream of ours, which is now becoming a reality thanks to you guys, which is awesome. But yeah, not a lot of theatre around here. So I was really, you know, as a creative, as an artist, as someone who's done at least 3 performances a year since I was, you know, like 6 years old, acting camps all summer, you know, at conservatories, auditioning, you know, just taking daily workshops with big conservatories and other traveling companies, you know, for the first time in my life, I don't have any of that. And it's very alien to me, man. I've never been in this situation where I haven't been able to express myself creatively. And it was really getting to me, you know, which ultimately is why, you know, like, you know, we took the initiative to get this Poet Warriors going. And now I can do that again. And I'm happy again, you know, because, I mean, other creatives out there, you guys will know, without our work, without our art, life isn't life, you know, like, we're not living. Like, you know, I wasn't depressed and sad, you know, like, I was happy, but I wasn't myself, you know, I wasn't happy. But now we've got Poet Warriors, and that's great. And before Poet Warriors is when I started my book, about 3-4 months ago, maybe now, as a way to escape it all, like, I started writing that cheap sunglasses book, when I was in the States. And it struck me, like, the whole idea for that full-length play, Cheap Sunglasses, hit me listening to music, listening to Cadillac 3, one of my favorite bands. Go check them out, they're great. Country rock band. And, we're always talking, me and Baze, about the importance of music and how inspirational it can be and how influential it can be. And, that play was very much dictated by just one song, which is awesome, But then when we were moving and everything, obviously that's a very stressful process. Moving from one house, an hour away is very different than moving across the world, which is something that I've done, I guess, twice now. Obviously moving from England to the States and then the States to Italy. There's a lot of mental focus, a lot of physical focus going into that. So, that kind of moved to the side. When I came back here and I was like, I'm suffering, I need to be creative. I went to go and revisit it to carry it on. And I was like, I'm just not in the right headspace for this. I need this. And then I went with this new idea. And then out comes this book. Completely out of the blue, and wow, am I having a blast, man. Never liked it before, always hated it, like it's such a chore to write for me, and just kind of like the whole no boundaries thing is just game changing to me. I don't know, not that there are any boundaries or any kind of, especially with what we're fans of, fans of absurdism here at the Poet Warriors, where we can kind of make our own guidelines and our own boundaries. I guess there's a certain format, a certain structure, or at the very least, a certain way of writing, a performance-centric piece, like a play, or a one-act, that you just don't have in books. I don't know. I really don't know how to talk about it, as someone who isn't experienced writing books. The Bays, my man, the Bays would do a lot better, but it's hard. It's really, really hard to get it out there. It's really hard to articulate. There is just a certain freedom in writing books, writing novels, that you just don't have writing performances, writing plays, writing one-acts. And I guess, this book came at the right time for me in my life, where I needed something to really do that for me. And it did. I've been writing, an hour a day for 3-4 months, and just losing myself into it. It's a complete mental distraction, whereas opposed to writing a script, like I'm thinking about the performance, I'm putting myself in the performance. When I'm writing this book, I'm living in this world that I'm creating. It's very transformative for me as a person, like as I'm learning more about myself, like I said, like creative aspects of myself I've never explored before. I'm learning more about myself, more about stuff hidden away within me, it's almost very therapeutic, man. It's very therapeutic. You can just, and there's little things in there that, even say, in the next 5 years it's published and you guys are reading it, there's little things in there that are just for me, and things that nobody else will ever get, but they have like deep rooted underlying meaning for me, and I just love that aspect, like it's taking me out of this place where, I love it here, but I'm feeling isolated because I'm not allowed to express my art. I can, now that I'm basically transporting myself to this world, to England, to Rexia, right? My book is called The Forgotten Kingdom, and it's set in England during the Viking Crusades. But then there's like this extra land where this like forgotten race are from and stuff, and there's going to be this war for Rexia. It's going to be like very, very historically cool with all of the, you know, like I said, the incursions of the Vikings and everything that comes with that. There's going to be, you know, a clash of minds, a clash of religions there, a clash of ideals, whilst there's this, you know, underlying tone of this impending doom of this land of Rexia, because all of these the greedy English, the greedy Vikings have heard tale of this land and are actively seeking it, and they just want peace. And I'm having a lot of fun with the idea, man. I'm having a lot of fun with the idea, and I mean, obviously, there's a lot more to it. I don't want to be here for, you know, an hour explaining to you guys, but maybe if you guys want to hear more, I'm sure I'll read it more on my stream and more on Poet Warriors. I know me and Beza, we're really looking forward to now, you know, we're expanding our horizons. We're diving into the art of literature right now. Next will be music. You know, and then we'll have the core three of like, you know, theatre, music, and literature to start growing with. We're going to be getting on a book editor onto our next podcast next Sunday, which we're really looking forward to, and it's going to be great, man. It's going to be great. But you know, the one thing I would say to you guys is give it a go, even if you don't consider yourself an author. I absolutely didn't. The furthest thing from it, you know. And now I'm getting all of these compliments around me from people reading bits, and they're just, you know, I'm basically writing for them at this point. You know, they need more, they want more, and they won't let me not give them more, you know, which is a really interesting experience for me. But just as a creative, man, like, enjoy the escape. Really, really give yourself to it and just give it a go. And you know, you won't know where it ends up. You know, I started this just as something for me, you know, like I said, like a creative escape, something that I can, you know, just have for myself. Maybe read to my kids one day or something, you know. And now it's turned into this thing where I have, you know, X amount of people telling me, like, you need to publish this. This is, you know, one of the most fun things I've read, you know, like one of the best books I've read in a while, and it's all very encouraging. But for the artist, man, it's life-changing. It's life-changing. And like I said, you know, I'm just sitting here out in nature reflecting on that decision, and I think I would be in a completely different place right now if I had started writing that book. And honestly, God's forbid, maybe not even started Poet Warriors. Like I said, you know, like I started writing before Poet Warriors, but maybe about a month and a half, 2 months tops before Poet Warriors started. And I guess it just, you know, it fueled me, it geared me back towards my passion, which, you know, never was going anywhere, but, like, you know, immersed me back in what I wanted, brought it back to my life earlier than probably was going to happen. And now we're the Poet Warriors. So, but anyway, I'll keep you guys posted with everything that happens on the books, mine and Beza's. And I hope you guys are enjoying this this audio content, these thought bubbles, we're calling them. We're going to be starting to post these on iTunes and Spotify, so you can download episodes as well. But yeah, guys, just remember, at the end of the day, and this applies to your creative content, to your life, to experiences, to relationships, to friendships, to family, all of it. It's completely applicable in any way you see fit. Just remember, imagine and then reimagine, and you'll never know where you're going to end up.